Are you preparing for the Terraform Certified Associate exam? Did you know there's a new version? Stay tuned to learn more. What's up, everybody? I'm Ned Bellavance, Ned1313 on Twitter, and welcome to Terraform Tuesday. Technically, it's Wednesday, but we'll make it feel like a Tuesday. Today, we're going to be talking about the most recent update to the Terraform Associate certification, what it means for you, and how you can prepare for it. Before we dig in, I want to take a moment and thank this week's sponsor, Robusta. More on them later. Let's talk certifications. First, I'll start with the basics. If you're not familiar with the Terraform Certified Associate exam, I covered it in some detail in a previous video that should appear now. The too long didn't watch is that the exam covers 9 primary objectives that are broken into various sub-objectives. And it's intended for people who have been using Terraform in development or some production capacity for about 6 months. So not a deep expert on Terraform, but certainly familiar with the concepts. The test itself is multiple choice, and it lasts 1 hour. And I believe right now it costs $70.50 to take, so not a super expensive exam either. Now, since Terraform is constantly changing, the exam itself has to be updated periodically to stay in line with the best practices and the new features that have been introduced. The latest update is version 3, launching in March of 2023, so like right now. In a moment, we'll go over the differences between version 2 and 3, but first I want to answer some common questions. For starters, you will be able to take version 2 of the exam until mid-May of 2023. So if you've already started studying and you don't want to adjust or find new study materials for version 3, don't fret. You have a month and a half to take the previous version. Second, if you take version 2 of the exam, your certification is good for 2 years. That's the case for either version, but I wanted to make it clear that taking the older version of the exam doesn't change the expiration date. Lastly, both exam versions cost the same. There's no discount on taking the older version of the exam or some temporary sale to entice you to take the new version. They both have the same cost. With all that out of the way, let's dig into the differences between version 2 and version 3, but first a word about Robusta. Robusta is an open core project that is meant to enhance your Kubernetes monitoring workflow and experience. I took it for a test drive with a couple of AKS clusters, and I can say the setup's really easy. The UI is fairly intuitive, and the underlying configuration is simple and extensible. My 2 favorite things about the solution are the unified timeline in the UI that shows you all the events in one or more clusters, or events filtered on a namespace or application. And there's also the ability to easily compare 2 clusters or 2 namespaces, whether they're in the same cluster or not. It's a great way to see what's different between environments or to see what's different between 2 clusters that are supposed to be practically identical. If you want to learn more about Robusta, check out the sponsored video that I created for them, or check out the link in the description below. Thank you to Robusta for sponsoring this video and supporting the channel. Now back on to Terraform Associate Exam version 3. Comparing version 2 and 3, they largely look the same. Some of the changes are cosmetic in nature, like the names of objectives, and some go deeper into deprecated commands or new features. So let's start first with the cosmetic changes. 4 of the primary objectives have new names, but honestly, the only one that really matters is Objective 9, which has changed names from Understand Terraform Cloud and Enterprise Capabilities to Understand Terraform Cloud Capabilities. I know that seems pretty minor, but the focus here is clear. You should know what Terraform Cloud can do, but don't worry too much about Terraform Enterprise. They've also revised the sub-objectives for this primary objective, and I'll get to those in a moment. Now let's deal with what has been removed from the exam. All sub-objectives that deal with provisioners are gone. No longer do you need to know how to use local exec and remote exec. HashiCorp has been advising against using provisioners for a while now, and they've been steadily adding functionality to core Terraform that replaces the need for provisioners entirely. So, good news, if you don't care about provisioners, you don't have to. Next, the Terraform taint command is deprecated in favor of the -replace flag with Terraform plan and apply. Instead of knowing about taint, focus on the existence of the -replace flag and how it works. The Terraform refresh command has also been deprecated in favor of the -refresh only flag for Terraform plan and apply. Again, focus on the existence of this refresh only flag and how it works. The Terraform workspace command has been removed from the exam, but it is not deprecated. HashiCorp has started advising against the use of Terraform workspaces in Terraform core, which is a contentious opinion that I don't necessarily endorse, but that's a topic for another time. The point is that you don't need to know how to use workspaces, but you do need to know that they exist. Next, the objective configure resource using a dynamic block is no longer its own sub-objective, but be aware it is still part of the exam. I'm honestly not sure why it was its own sub-objective in the first place, and now it isn't. You should still know how a dynamic block works. That's the removals. What about the additions? A new addition to Terraform since version 2 of the exam is the Cloud block that connects Terraform configurations to Terraform Cloud, using it as a remote state backend, among other things. The previous method was to use the remote backend type, and now the Cloud block is preferred. You should know how to use the Cloud block to connect to Terraform Cloud. To further emphasize the change and also to differentiate the available backends for state data, the objective describe remote state storage mechanisms and supported standard backends has been renamed to differentiate remote state backend options. Essentially, instead of knowing how the different backends work, you simply need to know what features they might support, and that's basically remote state lock and workspaces. Also, the name of the objective is a lot shorter, which I appreciate. In lieu of deprecation of Terraform taint and refresh, the new objective, manage resource drift and Terraform state, is basically telling you, hey, study up on the -replace and -refresh only flags. That's basically what this objective is trying to communicate. Another new feature of Terraform is terraform.lock.hcl files that are generated when you run Terraform init against a new configuration. The lock file records the constraints for providers and modules and what version of each provider is being used. This lets you lock into a specific version of a provider and then check that lock file into source control for consistency. Make sure you know what the lock file is, what it contains, and how to update it. Introduced back in version 0.13, I believe, sensitive values are now part of the exam, included in the demonstrate use of variables and outputs objective. You should know how to mark a variable and an output as sensitive, what it means functionally for it to be marked as sensitive, and how to remove the sensitive attribute from a variable or output. Turning back to the last objective regarding Terraform Cloud, the original 3 sub-objectives have been slimmed down to just 2. Explain how Terraform Cloud helps to manage infrastructure, and describe how Terraform Cloud enables collaboration and governance. The first objective basically covers workspaces in Terraform Cloud. You should know what a workspace is, how it works to provision infrastructure, and the 3 available workflows for workspaces. The second objective is more about governance available from Sentinel in Terraform Cloud, cost controls, and collaboration via the private registry and teams. My recommendation is to go sign up for an account in Terraform Cloud and start the free trial that includes all features. It's good for 30 days, and it does not require a credit card or any other information that they could take as payment. It's free. My big takeaway, and the thing I'd recommend focusing on, is the new functionality. It's not going to hurt you to know the deprecated stuff, but you'll struggle a bit if you don't know about the new features. If you're going to study anything in addition to what you've already done, then focus on the following: the cloud block and how it works, the Terraform lock.hcl file, how to use -refresh only and -replace with plan and apply, and how to mark a variable or output as sensitive. If you want to do a bit of studying before the exam, then may I humbly suggest my certification guide? I just finished updating it to be in line with version 3 of the exam, and since I publish it through LeanPub, you'll get updates to the guide for free. That means when version 4 of the exam comes out and you need to recertify, you'll have the latest version of the guide available to help you through. And if you use the link that's down in the description in the next 30 days, you'll get the guide for a mere $10 instead of the suggested $15. That is going to do it for today's Terraform Tuesday video. I hope you found it useful and that you give the exam a shot. Let me know if you did take it, pass or fail. I'd love to hear about what did or didn't help. If you'd like me to expand on any particular topic, leave a comment down below. I'll see what I can do. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, stay healthy, stay safe out there. Bye for now. On a personal note, I wanted to share that I have been renewed as a HashiCorp ambassador for the 4th year running. Nice! This is the 4th year the program has existed, and I've been a part of it since the beginning, and it is awesome. I've met so many other excellent ambassadors, had the opportunity to interact with you folks out there in the community. So I just want to take a moment and thank all the folks over at HashiCorp that run the ambassador program. It's awesome, and you're awesome. All right, thanks everybody. Bye.